End-of-life patients and their families have many different needs. What can volunteers do for them? In hospice and palliative care work in Taiwan, the concept of 5 holistic care has been proposed. The 5 holistic care concept are: multidisciplinary team. All members of the palliative care team work together to provide care. Community engagement. The entire community cares for the patients and their families. Holistic care. Providing care that addresses physical, psychological, social, and spiritual needs. Continuous end-of-life care. Providing continuous care for patients and their families throughout the entire late-stage journey. Holistic family-centered care. Treating the patient's entire family as the unit of care. From this perspective, everyone in society can contribute to end-of-life care. The general public can act from the community engagement perspective to care for people around them who have end-of-life care needs. In professional services, when volunteers and professionals cooperate, they can provide more comprehensive support services for patients as a multidisciplinary team. End-of-life care volunteers have at least 3 important roles in the community. Firstly, providing flexible and personalized support for patients and their families. This can be done by both volunteers within professional teams and independent individuals who are passionate about end-of-life care. Secondly, if within the professional team, volunteers can fill the gaps in the professional services provided by the organization and the service team, while also strengthening communication and connection between the organization and service users. Thirdly, from the community's perspective, volunteers help build its capacity for mutual support and raise public awareness of end-of-life care. Therefore, end-of-life care volunteers are important. Under the Jockey Club End-of-Life Community Care Project, the trained volunteers play 4 important roles. Let's have the project director, Professor Vivian Liu, explain them to us. First, volunteer serves as a bridging role, assisting in the dialogue and communication between the professional healthcare team and end-of-life patients and their families. Second, volunteer serves as a supporter, providing social and emotional support to end-of-life patients and their families through listening and companionship. Third, volunteer serves as a facilitator, assisting patients and families in fulfilling last wishes, promoting communication among family members, and supporting the risk assessment and service provision of social workers. Finally, the role of a responding role. Experienced volunteers, under the supervision of social workers, can independently provide simple social and emotional support and psychological intervention for end-of-life patients and their families. So, what do end-of-life care volunteers actually do? They can provide at least the following 6 types of support for patients and their families. Emotional support. Listening to and accompanying patients and their families can provide significant emotional support. Social support, chatting, sharing mutual interests, playing board games, and going for walks. Never underestimate these activities. For patients and their families, they are a form of social support that makes them feel they have companions on their journey. Practical support. This can range from small tasks like helping a patient write an email, taking care of their pets, or having hair cut, and can also provide short-term respite care for the patient so that the caregiver can take a break and relax. These are practical tasks that trained volunteers can perform. Informational support. Volunteers act as an additional bridge between patients, caregivers, and the outside world, bringing them useful community resources and care information. Volunteers can also strengthen the communication and connection between patients, caregivers, and professionals like healthcare staff and social workers. Spiritual support. If the patient does not have a religious belief, volunteers can discuss topics like the meaning of life, values, and people, and things that are important to the patient. If the person has religious belief, and both parties are comfortable, they can pray, read scriptures, or attend religious activities together. Bereavement support. When a patient comes to the end of their life journey, it is inevitable that the caregivers and family members will go through a period of grief. Trained volunteers can accompany caregivers and family members during this time, offering support during the funeral arrangement process, providing emotional support, or listening to their feelings and thoughts. This companionship alone can bring them great comfort. In fact, end-of-life care volunteers not only apply what they have learned during their service, they can also take actions in their daily lives to promote greater awareness of end-of-life care in the community. For example, they can pay more attention to and care for the elderly or neighbors and relatives with end-of-life care needs. When they are in need, volunteers can provide appropriate information or emotional comfort. Even on a normal day, volunteers can openly discuss topics of life and death, using current events or stories of others as opportunities to share related information or about their views on life and death with family and friends. These are all good opportunities to promote life and death education and the concept of palliative care to the public. If volunteers want to directly serve those with end-of-life care needs, they can join organizations that provide relevant services. Therefore, volunteers truly play a very important role in community end-of-life care services and are an extremely valuable community resource.